The way that we position it is that lots of the larger market research companies have divisions within the larger, more broad company that focus on multicultural consumers. But we feel like our competitive advantage is that this is all we do. We have people that have focused on multicultural consumers for the past 2 decades. And if your company is serious about growing multicultural consumers, you don't want to work with just a department. You want to work with a company that's been doing this, that's really focused on it. So number one is our expertise in multicultural consumers. Number two, when most companies think about doing research among multicultural consumers, a lot of these companies we work with, like Honda, Google, Facebook, have tons of data, have done surveys in the past among general market consumers. And the typical approach is, hey, we have this survey, let's just field this among African Americans, let's just field this among Hispanics, without taking a look at the questionnaire and adjusting it for the way that different audiences respond to questions. An example of this is Hispanic positivity bias. This is something that's been studied again and again. When you give a questionnaire to Hispanics, they tend to be more positive in their responses. And so if you as a brand, the first time doing research among Hispanics, field a survey, you're going to think, wow, I'm doing great. All my scores are off the chart. I don't have to do anything. And that's something that we bring to the table. We know how to create more discrimination in the responses by setting up certain protocols that account for that. And so that's part of our secret sauce as well, kind of knowing what those cultural biases that come out in survey responses and how to mitigate that from a questionnaire standpoint. Early on, actually, a fluke. Early on, we contracted somebody 2011, 2012 to help us out in SEO. And at that point, I was really ignorant on SEO. We were just like, hey, help us get to first page results, right? And this person at the time was doing things that were fine, standard practice. If you remember, like link stuffing, things like that, right? And then I think it was 2013, 2014, Google changed their algorithm and frowned upon that. So we were actually blacklisted. And so at that point, we actually switched to content. And it was a blessing in disguise, right? We got, Google was no longer ranking us. And so we started doing our own research to create lead generation and create blogs. And from there, it's grown. So now we rely almost exclusively on content that we write. My undergrad is in English literature, so I have a strong writing background. My business partner's in communications, so we write all our own content. Because we have a research company, we own and operate our own research panel with respondents. We field research and write blogs. And so now, our website's generating 3,000-4,000 unique visitors a month. We download, we generate leads by people going to our site, reading our blog, downloading our reports. We now have people that outbound call and follow up on those leads, set up meetings to discuss those reports. And that's our sales funnel. It's really writing content that helps clients and potential clients. And that's driven by what's out there, what's popular. So right now, unfortunately, with this epidemic going on, for example, we're looking into the coronavirus. So we just fielded a study on how is this going to impact consumer behavior. So that's a piece of content that we'll be writing. So primarily I would say content is our number one driver.